Hi guys, join me on my drive home real quick. I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you about this thing I call the infinite squeeze, and it is GameStop. And the way it's going to happen right now, in 40 hours the earnings report comes out, but I want to explain to you exactly the mechanics of what it is. You see, I've always talked about the fundamentals of the business and how that's going to drive up the stock price, but what's really going to take GameStop up and above everything is going to be the fundamentals of the stock market. GameStop's going to increase in value, and as it increases in value, the hedge funds have to buy more of it. Remember, they have a percentage of the allotment of the S&P 500, S&P 400 mid-cap, all of it. So as the price goes up, it actually becomes more valuable to the actual institutions. And the fundamentals are going to drive the price up. We get that part. But the minute it gets there, the minute it gets into the S&P 500, it's over, guys. That means this thing is going up and to the right with all its might. And there's nothing that can stop it, because institutions are forced to buy in at the elevated price. Now, you guys want to know how smart institutions are? And they call it smart money versus dumb money. I'll explain to you the dumb money. The dumb money was last year. Yeah, hey, institutions, hi. GameStop sold 140 million shares for 2x the stock price. You didn't know that? The stock price was $10 a share. And a month later, you guys didn't want to buy it at 10, but you all bought it at $28. GameStop raised $4 billion. 3 and some change, but $4 billion right now, $5 billion they're going to have. And that was because Wall Street was buying in, because they knew where the company was headed. There's no doubt in anyone's mind where this company's headed on paper. Now, here's the next part. We're not talking about Grand Theft Auto. We're not talking about PSA graded cards. We're not talking about the better business model. Better business model is this right now. They're at 30 cents a share. I'm just ballparking a number. They're coming in at 30 cents a share in 40 hours. That means they're going to make an amazing amount of money. They're going to make $150 million for the quarter, and it's going to look great for the year, but it gets better next year. Next year, they're going to make $200 million on interest. They're going to make $150 million operationally, and you add those two numbers together, and it brings you around 70 cents a share. Times that by 100 PE ratio, should be $70 a stock, right? Or maybe things don't trade at 100 PE ratio. Yeah, they do. They do once they get in the S&P 500. Go ask GoDaddy.com. Go ask Palantir. Go ask Super Microcomputers. Anything that walks into the S&P 500 automatically goes through the moon. And why? Because if you actually look at Yahoo Finance, you look at stock analysis, you look at any website, they're going to tell you, even if you go to FINRA data, they're going to tell you how many ETFs hold the company. And you know how many ETFs, how many institutions hold these companies when they're in the S&P 500? At a minimum 600, at a minimum 700, 800, 900. That's how many companies own the stock. Right now, only 400 institutions hold GameStop. Well, can you imagine how many institutions and funds actually trade off the index? The S&P 500, all of them. Guys, it'd be an amazing amount, but here's the kicker. GameStop's price only needs to go up $20 to be eligible for the S&P 500, but the bottom of the S&P 500 is falling down as well. This economy's falling apart, which is great for a lot of people. But here's why I get excited. Because if it's only $20 and that's, the amount of shares is 446 million shares, that's not a lot of shares to influence. When you think about the S&P 500, I want you to think about companies like Nvidia. I want you to think about Apple, where their floats are 24 billion shares. Another float of 17 billion shares. Billions and billions of shares. Even Palantir has 2 billion shares. GameStop has 446 million. It's pretty quick to get $20 a share when you don't have a huge float. But you're going to find the profits somewhere, guys. And when you find those profits and you find this infinite squeeze coming to you, just remember, they were willing to buy it for 2.5x above asking price last year. And that they call themselves smart money. Can you imagine what they're going to do when GameStop gets to the S&P 500 this time? I'll tell you, they can stay in the mid caps. And as it keeps going up in the mid-caps, smart investors look at mid-cap companies and they go, that's a company I want to buy, because they're going to be in the S&P 500 one day. That's where you start, guys. You start to invest in the companies that are going to make it, not the companies that are already there. Then you kind of miss the boat, right? But as GameStop goes up and to the right and it keeps going up in value, and the market looks great, and the cash looks great, and the mergers and acquisitions look great, everything they do, everything Ryan Cohen does, it all looks great. You get to pick your price. Because Wall Street's going to come buy those shares from you, and market makers are going to see the volume, which is dry as hell. They're going to be like, no one wants to buy them at 25. We got to put it out for 26. We got to put it for 27, 28, 29, 30, 35, 30. It's going to keep going. And as it keeps going higher, more people buy in. Go look at it, guys. Over 7,000 institutions own Apple. 6,500 institutions own Nvidia. 1,000 institutions own super microcomputers, and they're terrible. They're fraudulent accounting practices, whatever it may be, but they're in the S&P 500. Hell, GoDaddy has more. So as stock go up and to the right, as they keep going, okay, more people buy in, the higher it goes. When you can figure that out, then you'll understand the psychology of the market itself. You're about to be in the best investment of your lifetime, guys, and it starts in 40 hours. It's an infinite squeeze. It's never going to stop. They're going to keep buying it the higher it goes. Stock prices are relevant to them. They want to know where they can find the shares. You can find them with me, and you can find them with you. I hope you guys understand just how valuable this investment is. GameStop, the infinite squeeze. I'll see you on the moon, millionaires. Peace.